Welcome back, everyone. Ready to dive into another deep dive with me?
Always.
Awesome. Okay, so today we're tackling something I think we can all relate to. Personal responsibility.
Yeah.
You know,
Big one.
it's a big one. You sent over some really interesting stuff for this one,
Yeah.
especially this piece called Owning Your Actions, A Path to Spiritual Growth. And it really caught my eye because it kind of connects responsibility with love.
Hmm.
And that's not
We're at
not the first thing I think of usually. Have you ever thought of those two together?
Yeah, it's an interesting link for sure. And the source really dives into this whole idea that taking responsibility isn't just about, like checking things off your to-do list
Mm.
or avoiding those awkward, oops, sorry moments.
Yeah,
It's about something way deeper. It's about love,
Oh,
like love for God and love for other people.
okay, so break this down for me.
Uh,
How does the source actually link those two ideas together?
hmm.
Responsibility and love.
Well, there's this one quote I think really gets to the heart of it. It says, responsibility isn't just a duty, it's an expression of genuine love. It aligns us with God's heart and his plan for our lives.
Whoa.
Right.
Powerful.
So it's suggesting that when we own up to our actions, even the messy ones, we're actually stepping into a deeper space of love and connection with something bigger than ourselves.
Hmm. That's deep. You know, it's making me think about this time I totally messed up at work. I
Mhm.
completely missed a deadline. Yeah, it was bad.
Oh, no.
Instead of owning up to it, I blamed it on a tech issue.
Yeah.
Definitely not my proudest moment.
Oh, yeah. We've all been there.
Looking back, though, if I just admitted my mistake, it would show way more respect to my team and probably even help me grow from it.
Absolutely. And the source uses some really interesting examples from the Bible to illustrate this. Like, think about Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden.
Okay, yeah.
When they got caught, their first instinct was to pass the blame. Adam blamed Eve, and Eve blamed the serpent. Classic blame game, right?
Yeah, we've all been there. But is that really so bad? I mean, isn't it human nature to avoid getting in trouble?
It is human nature, yeah. But the source points out something super important. You see, it wasn't just about breaking the rule, it was about their attempt to break connection, to hide from God. Adam and Eve's blame shifting wasn't just about the fruit, it was a rejection of responsibility and ultimately a rejection of love.
Wow. I never thought about it that way. It's like their blame shifting created this barrier between them and God.
Exactly. And that's such a powerful insight that applies to all of us, whether we're talking about our relationship with, a higher power or with each other. When we refuse to own our actions, we create distance. But when we step up and take responsibility, we open the door to forgiveness, healing, and a much deeper connection.
Okay, so dodging responsibility damages relationships.
Okay.
Got it. But what about actually owning our mistakes? The source mentions King David too, right? And he messed up pretty badly.
He did. David's story, especially his affair with Bathsheba and the whole cover-up that followed, it's a really powerful example of how we can choose a different path. When he was confronted by the prophet Nathan, David didn't try to justify his actions or shift the blame. He just straight up owned up to his mistakes. He said, I have sinned against the Lord. And it was his willingness to take responsibility that made forgiveness and restoration possible.
That makes a lot of sense. Admitting our flaws can actually open the door to healing and growth.
Yeah.
It's like by owning up, we're saying that we value the relationship more than our ego. So we've seen how avoiding responsibility can create a rift, but owning our actions builds bridges. Are there examples of this going beyond just our personal relationships?
Absolutely. And this is where it gets really interesting. The source uses the parable of the talents to illustrate this point. You know, this parable, it isn't just about money. It's a powerful metaphor for how we approach our potential in all areas of life. Like, you remember those servants that invested their talents? They were rewarded not just for making more money, but for their initiative and responsibility.
Right.
But that servant who buried his talent, well, he was reprimanded for not taking ownership of what he'd been given.
So you're saying it's not enough to just have potential. We have to actually step up and do something with it.
Exactly. The parable is challenging us to think about those gifts and opportunities we've been given. Like, how are we actually using them? It's a call to action. It's urging us to step into our potential and really make a contribution to the world around us.
Man, this is making me think about all those creative projects I've started and never finished. You know that half-written novel? That guitar in the corner gathering dust?
Oh,
It's like I'm that servant burying my talents.
I think a lot of us can relate to that. But the good news is we can always choose to dig those talents back up. It's never too late to start investing in ourselves and using our gifts to make a difference. The parable reminds us that responsibility isn't just about avoiding those negative consequences. It's also about embracing the power we have to create something good.
Okay, so we've seen how avoiding responsibility can hurt relationships. and how owning our actions can actually strengthen them. And now we're seeing how responsibility also extends to our talents and potential. Is there anything else the source talks about?
Yeah, it dives into some examples from the New Testament, specifically the Apostle Paul. This guy really owned his past. He called himself the foremost of sinners, acknowledging all the harm he had caused before his conversion.
Wait, so are you saying we should dwell on our past mistake? Isn't that kind of depressing?
No, not at all. Paul's example isn't about dwelling on the negative. It's about owning up to our past, learning from it, and moving forward with a renewed sense of purpose. He didn't let his past define him. He embraced the power of forgiveness and became an instrument of love and healing.
That's encouraging. It's like saying we're not condemned by our past as long as we learn from it and try to do better.
Ah.
Okay, so we've talked about responsibility in relationships, talents, and even our own past. How does Jesus fit into all of this? The source mentioned something about Jesus taking ultimate responsibility, right?
This is where it gets really profound. The source emphasizes that by taking on the burden of our sins, Jesus offered us a path to freedom. It's a radical act of love and responsibility.
I'm trying to wrap my head around what that means for me personally. Does it mean I'm off the hook for my actions because Jesus already took care of it?
It's not about being off the hook. It's about recognizing that depth of love and sacrifice. It allows us to move forward, to be free from the weight of our past mistakes. And when we choose to take responsibility for our own actions, we're aligning ourselves with that incredible act of love and stepping into that same freedom.
It's like a ripple effect. Jesus' sacrifice paves the way, and when we take responsibility for our actions, we're tapping into that same power.
Exactly. We're not just following rules, we're participating in this kind of cosmic dance of love and responsibility. It sets us free to live authentically and connect with something larger than ourselves.
This is all incredibly inspiring, but I gotta admit, it feels a bit overwhelming. How do we take all these profound ideas and put them into practice in our everyday lives? How do we actually become more responsible?
That's a great question. And thankfully, the source gives us some concrete steps we can take. So the source outlines these 3 key practices, and they're actually pretty approachable.
Oh, lay them on me.
The first one is reflecting before acting.
So not just jumping into things without thinking.
Exactly. It's about taking a moment, pausing, taking a breath, and really considering what might happen because of our actions before we just leap in.
Yeah.
It's about asking ourselves, what values are guiding my choices here? Am I acting in a way that lines up with my deepest beliefs?
That makes sense.
Yeah.
But sometimes things just happen so fast. What about those times when you have to react right in the heat of the moment?
That's a great point. There are definitely times when we have to act on instinct. But even then, having that habit of reflection can make a huge difference. Think of it like building a muscle. The more we practice pausing and thinking through our choices, the more it becomes second nature, even in those tough situations.
So it's all about creating space for thought, even if it's just a quick second to check in with ourselves, like that. What's the next step?
The second step is confessing and seeking forgiveness when we mess up.
Okay, that's humbling.
Yeah.
But, let's be real. We all make mistakes, right? Sometimes it feels easier to just kind of sweep them under the rug.
Oh, it's definitely tempting. But the source is really emphasizing how important it is to acknowledge those shortcomings. It's crucial for growth. It's about being honest with ourselves and with the people we've hurt, and remembering that forgiveness from others and from ourselves is a powerful force for healing and reconciliation.
So confession is actually about breaking down those walls that we build when we try to hide our mistakes. It's about opening ourselves up to grace and, really allowing ourselves to be seen, flaws and all.
That's a beautiful way to put it. It's about letting go of that shame and allowing ourselves to move forward with a lighter heart.
Okay, so we've got reflection before action and confession when we fall short. What's that third step?
The third step is taking responsibility for our own spiritual growth.
So not just waiting for something to happen, but actively looking for ways to learn and grow.
Exactly. It's about realizing that we have the power to shape our own spiritual journeys. It's about being intentional, about connecting with something larger than ourselves, whether that's through prayer, meditation, nature acts of service, or exploring spiritual teachings.
Man, this is really hitting home for me. I've been feeling kind of stuck lately. And I think part of it is I've been kind of passively waiting for inspiration to just hit me.
Yeah.
But maybe it's more about actively seeking it out.
That could be. Sometimes we need to create that space for growth, step outside of our comfort zones, and explore new practices or ideas that really nourish our souls.
This has been such an amazing deep dive. We started out talking about this surprising connection between responsibility and love. We went through all these powerful stories from the Bible and saw how owning our actions or not owning them can really affect our relationships and our own sense of well-being. And now we have these practical steps that we can actually take to become more responsible in our daily lives. I feel like I have a whole new understanding of what it means to really own my actions and live a life that's more purposeful and fulfilling.
I'm so glad to hear that. And remember, it's a journey, not a destination. We're all going to stumble from time to time, but what matters is that we give ourselves grace, learn from those mistakes, and keep trying to live in a way that's aligned with love and responsibility.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And all of you listening out there, we'd love to hear what you think. What really resonated with you from this deep dive? What small act of love and responsibility are you going to embrace today? Let's keep this conversation going. Share your thoughts with us on social media. Until next time, keep diving deep, keep learning, and keep choosing love in everything you do.